Raise your hand and I can go ahead and call on you. Ned, go ahead.
Morning, Kurt, or pardon me, afternoon, Kurt. It's morning to me.
Morning.
As far as tomorrow's game goes, are you concerned at all when a team is going on a break like you guys, like, you know, everyone is right now, and especially after clinching a cup spot last night too?
Yeah, I got to trust, Ned, that these guys are professionals. They've dealt with this throughout their college years with the Christmas break game. Certainly, you know, the veterans have been through this in Olympic years. So I gotta trust that they're professionals, and we got back to work here early this morning and instituted our game plan and really dove into some film work, knowing that we weren't going to be able to do much on the court, just try to keep their legs in recovery. But we got back to work immediately in preparation for a New York team that we have great respect for, play in unique style. So while it's always in the back of your mind, I trust these guys are professionals and that we're going to be prepared and ready to go.
Alexa,
go ahead.
Hi, Kurt. I know you were in practice, so you might not have seen the latest on this, but it looks like New York is stuck in Indy. And I think the latest is that they might not even arrive to New York until tomorrow morning. I'm not sure if you know anything about that, or I know everyone has had their own share of travel problems, but it seems like obviously New York's getting the short end of the stick with their last kind of few days getting to Indy and then getting back.
Yeah, literally, Alexa, directly walking off the practice floor into here. So was not aware of that. So haven't even grabbed my own phone to see if I have any messages from the league. But it's unfortunate. Obviously, it's the time of the year where weather also plays a factor, and it's part of this league flying commercial that we all have to deal with, unfortunately. And it's out of our control at times. And this is what all coaches and all organizations preach at the beginning of the year, that with the type of travel that we have, you have to be flexible. You have to be able to roll with the punches, and it doesn't make it easy. But I imagine that Walt and company are providing great leadership to the New York team. I know they didn't have easy travel into Indy. So, you know, it's disappointing to hear they're having trouble getting back to New York.
Awesome. Do either one of you have any more questions for Kurt?
Come on, let's talk.
We can talk more if you want. Ned and me, we can be talkers.
I say it's just you two, so.
Anything?
No, I said.
I'll ask quickly, just in terms of game planning for tomorrow. I mean, how much do you look at the game from June when you played them versus how they're looking recently? New York, I mean. And what did you like, and what are you looking to improve on from? I mean, it was a pretty handy victory you guys had when you last played them, but what are the kind of pluses and minuses you take away from that game?
Yeah, I think the thing with our win, we were pleased with a lot of things that we did, but we also realized that New York missed shots that they've made all year long. So, you know, we reminded of them that we created some of that, but they missed shots that night. They're really talented. We are always a team that's big in the last five. Sammy Whitcomb's been tremendous in the last five. We know how talented Benijah is, how talented Sabrina is. So, you know, playing Atlanta before you play New York is good prep in terms of how talented the guard play is. Their pace is, you know, really difficult to guard. They put you in matchup difficulties because of how their pace. So transition defense is going to be really important, just like it was last night against Atlanta. And we didn't have a great first half last night against Atlanta, even though the stat sheet said 3 transition points. What we consider transition points, we figured Atlanta had 29 transition points at halftime against us. So transition defense, good prep playing Atlanta before New York. The pace for New York is going to really challenge us. And so we've got to be better than we were last night. And then there are subtle differences on how they're playing since we played them the last time, and pointing those out and creating a game plan and a strategy against the subtle differences on how they're playing is what we spent the morning trying to implement.
So this is a very specific question, but what are the, like you said, you consider transition points different than like what the stat sheet would be. So does that, like, how do you exactly define that in your terms?
Yeah, we consider some of the early actions, technically like a drag screen, a step up screen. So not necessarily a half court offensive set, but just an action very early in the shot clock as they're flying down in transition as part of transition points. And Atlanta was very good last night in an early action as they came flying down the floor. And we've got to be better, because that's what New York does so well. And that's, arguably what they're best at, maybe in the entire league. So transition defense is a challenge for anyone who plays New York, and obviously is where you start your game plan.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Does anyone have any more questions for Coach?
Set them free.
Thanks,
All right,
Dave.
Coach. You're all set. Thank you.
Thanks, Kurt.
And I'll send Kyla here in a little bit. All right, awesome. We have Kyla Charles here. Raise your hand if you have questions. Ned, it looks like your hand is still raised from before, so you can go ahead.
Afternoon, Kyla. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Exhausted, thank you. From what you guys have seen on tape from last time you played New York, what do you think you did good the last time around? What do you think needs to be better this time around?
I think we did a good job of like getting the ball inside, using our side's advantage against theirs, and really pounding. Obviously, it was a close game that we wanted. In the beginning, I think we need to limit turnovers and make sure we're locked in from the beginning with our focus. And that's what we're doing, going into this game, making sure we're focusing on us and what we can control, and that we're sticking to the game plan and, hopefully executing so we can get the win.
Awesome. Alexa?
Hey, Kyla. Kurt was kind of saying that he thinks playing Atlanta right before you play New York is kind of helpful prep because they have some similar strengths, especially strong guard play. I know obviously you'll see how that kind of turns out tomorrow, but seems like do you think that'll be helpful for you all going into that game?
Yeah, definitely. Atlanta, like you said, has strong guards that are very aggressive, like to get in the paint, which is very similar to New York. And they're also fast paced in terms of just getting the ball in transition and trying to get a lot of early actions. And so I think we had prep yesterday with Atlanta, especially with their transition game, especially with the type of guard play that they have. And it's just preparing us for tomorrow. So it was a really good preparation for us.
I also wanted to ask about the Commissioner's Cup because we talked with some of your older teammates who are like, yeah, like it's pretty cool, but like, maybe for like a player on a rookie scale contract, an extra $10,000 or $30,000 if you all win it all would mean more. So, how excited were you to be able to at least clinch a spot in the championship game and maybe even bring in $30K?
Yeah, I'm very excited. That's a lot of money to me. So to be able to have that opportunity to play and either get 10 or 30 is a great, opportunity, is a blessing. So I'm just excited that we were able to, battle it out in these first 10 games and clinch our spot. Money, 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 money.
Awesome. Any more questions for Kyla? All right, Kyla, you're all set. Thank you, Alexa and Ned.